Kevin Kingsley.
Hello.
Got a match for you setting up right now. Couple of competitors from these weekend's festivities over at SCG. Dan Duwan, who top-8'd the Standard Open, actually, playing Abs and Aggro. And Alan, I think he got 22nd or something like that.
Something like
but
that.
But he lost playing for top 8.
Yeah.
Playing Mono White Devotion, which apparently everyone thinks is horrible or something. I don't know. That standard's over. We get to move on. There's a new standard on the way. I'm pretty excited about it. I've been building a lot of mana bases, mostly.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I
great.
have all these cards that I want to play.
Yeah.
And there's just not enough room to play them all.
Chapin wrote a pretty good article today about putting
It was
together
good.
5-color mana bases, and that was, let me tell you, like, really bad for me, because all I want to do is play 5-color. Siege Rhino and Mantis Rider together just seems like a match made in heaven.
Yes.
So that's pretty tempting for me. A lot of other sweet decks to look at.
Unreasonable.
I put one. I posted one on Twitter I think yesterday. It was Bant Dragons.
Dragons.
Yeah. So take the Esper Dragon shell, but you have better mana.
Yep.
And then you play just green for Dromoka.
But your mana's great in Esper.
Yeah.
Probably just play 4-color.
You could. I mean, I was playing. Why was I playing green? And for Lumbering Falls. That was my main reasoning.
Okay, that card's sweet.
I think Lumbering Falls is super good. Maybe it's not necessarily better than Shambling Vent.
It might be better.
I think it's certainly better versus control decks.
Yes.
And that's a big part of it. But I think both the manlands just seem extremely good in a world where instant speed removal is at a bit of a premium.
Yeah, that's kind of the big thing that keeps like crossing my mind is like, one, there's no 3 damage burn spell outside of like Draconic Roar,
Which I think is
Which
very
is great.
good, yeah.
Not having Stormbreath Dragon is awkward.
Yeah, you gotta play like Kolagon.
Yeah,
something.
Kolagon, or I mean, if you're like Ojutai or Icefall Regent,
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Thunderbreak region is just the only obvious one, so to speak.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I see all these players here. Ooh, we got a good number of people here tonight. Looks like we got 30 players.
Yeah.
All right. Our round 1 matchup is I would say a classic modern matchup. Jund versus Affinity. Unless Dan's going to throw a curveball here and be playing something like Twin.
He is playing something different.
Oh, do you know what he's playing?
So he is playing... He is playing Grixis.
Grixis.
He's playing a Grixis list.
Like a
He
control
told me-
list?
Yeah.
So does he have Vryn's Prodigy in there?
I don't know, but he did say he's playing 4 Cryptic Commands and is not happy about it.
Not happy about it? What does that mean?
I agreed with him.
There's only one deck I'm ever happy to be playing 4 Cryptics in, and that is Escape Shift.
Yeah.
Traditionally. I think there are a lot of other decks where it's just...
It's just a liability.
You just get flooded on them.
Yeah.
Like, the format's just too fast to draw 4 mana, reactive spells. It's not really welcoming that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll hop down there. Looks like players are resolving their mulligans. Oh, God, I'm sorry, this is crooked. This is so bad.
I can try and fix it.
Sure, it's got to be rotated. Yeah. We got Alan on the right and Dan on the left here. Alan certainly... Ooh, Alan is playing a different deck, too. Oh, wow. Both these players playing decks I did not expect them to be playing. I am a little worried, honestly. I think we're just going to call Dan's deck Grixis, because we have no idea what else is in there besides Grixis cards. What do you think Alan's playing?
Oh.
He's not playing Affinity. We got a curveball. We got a complete curveball here. It looks like Twin. Nope. Storm. Oh my God. Storm versus Grixis. Storm is a deck that I just have not been a big fan of in Modern. Tried it a lot, honestly.
Yeah, I want it to be good.
Yes.
'Cause I like playing Storm.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, honestly it's a pretty boring deck to play. I shouldn't say that. It's a pretty boring deck to win with.
yes.
It's you just sort of do the same sort of thing, and you have very, very, very few ways to interact. So it's a little bit unexciting a lot of times. Like, take for instance the Storm Mirror and Legacy. It is hard. It is super interactive. Like your discard spells all are super relevant and very difficult to execute. Like Cabal Therapy is also just a ridiculous magic card. So playing that in a Cabal Therapy mirror is always pretty ridiculous. But it's real tough. Looks like Dan just gonna play a Pluto Delta and pass, and Alan's gonna end step Desperate Ravings here. This is going to be one of the better cards against control decks.
Yeah. It's just... Yeah, just lets you play a longer game. You generally don't really care about what cards you're discarding. You're just gonna flash them back anyways.
Yeah, the only, like maybe
you don't want to discard Ascension.
Yeah, Ascension, and... I mean, Electromancer is just an okay threat a lot of times. You don't really care about it. In this matchup, it's just more about hitting your land drops and picking a spot. Because the Grixis deck, unless it has a Delve threat, has a really hard time applying pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Dan has an Inquisition that he refused to cast this turn. He wants to hold it. I think that's a pretty subtle point on his part. There's just not much going on, and Alan didn't jam an Ascension, so he clearly doesn't have it just yet. So you don't really need to fire off the Inquisition. I mean, the Storm deck really only has it has 8 scary cards effectively between the 4 Pyromancers, Ascension, and 4 Electromancers. But the Electromancers are all very susceptible to spot removal, and Zidane has a Bolt just hiding on his hand right there. Like, it's really just Ascension. Oh, drawing Snare. Snare is the best card in the form.
Part of why I don't like playing Storm is, like...
Just randomly get spell snared out of the game.
Yeah, like...
Can be pretty rough. Alan's hand right now is triple Pyretic Ritual, Desperate Ravings, and Electromancer.
Is that the obscure
yeah,
card?
the card we cannot see is a Goblin Electromancer. Our good friend. Wednesday Night Legacy? Huh. Looks like I'm not great at this. I just noticed that. Don't want to confuse anyone that these are very underpowered Legacy decks.
Yes.
These are, in fact, modern decks. I just don't know how to change things appropriately.
Got part of it.
What do you take here? Like... You could take the Ravings?
Ravings seems like the pick to me.
The scary thing about Electromancer is that if Alan puts himself in a position where he can cast it with 2 red up, then he can go play it, and then attempt a ritual, and then Alan can respond with like 3 more rituals.
Yeah.
And just like gain a bunch of mana there. Basically use Electromancer as a glorified ritual, and that's kind of scary. It can be very explosive, especially when there's a Past in Flames already in his yard.
But Dan does have that spell snare also.
Yeah, like if he really needs to, he can counter it.
So he has Bolt plus spell snare.
Alan looks like he did not find a land off Sleight of Hand, nor his draw step, but he did draw a Thought Scour. We're trying to decide if he wants to play this now or later, given that he doesn't have the Desperate Ravings. I think you just fire it off now and try to hit a land.
I think you do. You're not doing anything.
No, like...
You're not playing Electromancer.
No.
This turn, so, like...
Might as well see if we can hit a land. Yeah. Looks like he drew a Manamorphose. Always a card. Even in this scenario, I want to draw that card.
Oh, yeah. Like, the card's just great.
I don't know why they keep banning cards in this deck that aren't Manamorphose.
Yeah.
That's my real question here. I will say, the banning of Seething Song, though I thought it was unnecessary at the time, I still think it's reasonably unnecessary. It made it so that this deck has just a much harder time against discard.
Yep.
Now that you necessarily need multiple rituals to go off, it's a lot tougher to fight through Inquisition, like multiple Inquisitions, multiple Thoughtseizes, and especially Liliana of the Veil.
Yeah.
I think Jund went from having, honestly, a bad matchup against Storm to a good matchup just from that banning. Maybe sounds kind of obvious to a lot of people, but I think people didn't realize how good the matchup was before. How that the matchup was completely fine for Storm beforehand.
Yeah.
Because traditionally,
they're just so much faster. Is that like?
That's what it comes down to. The speed is pretty big. That is an end-step cycling of a Shadow of Doubt, so it looks like that dual end came into play untapped. I like that Dan's not waiting on that. Just get it out of your hand.
Yep.
It doesn't have... I think he has an Angler in his hand that he can get into play this turn. He has a Fetch Land and a Serum Vision, so I'd imagine we're going to see that come down right now.
Definitely. He really needs to get a clock going.
Yeah, and...
Like, he's got the tools to keep Alan from doing much of any relevance, but...
Yeah, between
he doesn't kill him, like...
The Spell Snare and the Bolt are both going to be great. The Serum Visions hopefully will draw him into another Counterspell or maybe a Snapcaster Mage. But yeah, once he's taking 5-point chunks out of Alan's life total every turn, I think Alan's going to be pressured to start having to act, and that's where these Counterspells start being really devastating.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see how Dan uses that Snare, given that Alan's hand is literally all 2-drops.
Yep.
Like, you got to decide what you want to counter in this situation, and that can be kind of tricky. We'll also see how much Dan really wants to delve here. He's going to Serum Visions first. It's basically free.
Yeah.
He has drawn quite a few lands.
You want
though.
to, yeah, you want to be casting Angler, so this turn, anyways.
Looks like he's gonna top bottom with his Serum Visions, and and play a 5/5. And he's just gonna get rid of everything, but
Yeah.
probably the Serum Visions, probably Inquisition. Honestly,
I think Inquisition is the best.
yeah.
All right. No, is it?
Isn't that 8?
Okay.
There we go. It's like that was definitely 8 cards.
Wait, if it's 8, he gets to keep 2?
No, keep 1. Delve 7.
Delve 6?
Oh, it's Delve 6. I'm crazy. Why did I think it was Delve 7? It's not Treasure Cruise.
I don't know.
I just really want to play Treasure Cruise in New Standard.
He kept Shadow of Doubt.
Interesting. Maybe he just wants he values the ability to go snap Shadow down end of turn instead of like having a whole Snapcaster Mage. Maybe increase the clock a little bit,
Which is reasonable.
Yeah,
in
especially
the hand of all reactive cards.
if the card he topped was Snapcaster Mage. This makes a lot of sense because then he can go attack for 5, put you to 14, and that's a 2-turn clock with the Snapcaster Mage, and he gets to draw another card too. Let's see what Alan decides to do this turn. I think he did not draw a land again, so he's got to decide how he wants to go about this. Usually, in these situations, people lead with the Manamorphose.
Yeah.
Since you're a little unsure of what you want here.
And Manamorphose is a tempting
Snare target?
snare target.
Absolutely.
Especially after missing land drops for a while.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Alan can't go like, play a land, kill you, or anything like that. We'll see. I think you always let the first ritual resolve if you have a snare. Like,
I agree. Ooh.
Dan does not agree.
Yeah, he does
Right.
not.
The reason I think you counter that is because Alan, unless he plays a land, can't. Oh, that was a Snapcaster Mage.
Okay. So again, makes more sense.
Okay,
Makes more sense.
Yes, casting that spell snare makes quite a bit more sense. Now you can just snap snare, basically anything. Again, even though that was there, like Alan has to play another 2-drop after that. And if he plays another 2-drop, he can't do anything with 1 red.
Yeah, I agree.
It's basically, does Dan think that Alan drew a land? So like Dan picked the safer play, based on him thinking, guessing whether or not, like he played around Alan drawing a land that turn, which is something that I might not have been willing to do in that scenario.
It's not. Yeah, it's not unreasonable though.
No, definitely not. So for those unaware, the reason that wouldn't work, if Dan goes, your first one resolves, and then tries to snare his second one, then Alan could just play a land and play another 2-drop since he knows there's a million rituals hiding out in his hand. So that can be pretty problematic. But so the snare on the first card makes a lot of sense in that regard. All right, we'll see if Dan decides to end step Snapcaster. No, he does not. He's gonna save it, and I think that's a good idea. Once again, Alan missing his land drop, like. Since he's going to be so tight on mana, you might as well just hold it to snare something again. Snare is going to be great. Ooh, Tasker's pretty good, too.
And given that Dan has both Snapcaster in hand, like he's, Alan's dead next turn.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
There's really no reason to
do anything,
give up
really.
the spell snare.
Yeah. I think you just play the Steam Vents tapped here. Actually, you could play your land untapped and play Tassiger. But, like, I don't know. Maybe you're just playing around the possibility of Alan storming off and grape-shotting your board. But with the snare in hand, I think... with the Snapcaster in hand, you just snare the first thing Alan plays.
Yep.
Like, I don't think Alan has a way out of this. Because the Snapcaster plus the Gurmag Angler is going to be 7, plus the Bolt is already enough. Yeah, you just pass and snare the first thing he casts. Alan drawing Serum, Shivan Reef this turn.
Yeah, because even if he draws I don't know. Yeah, there's no. Grape Shot just isn't really a concern.
No, not anymore. Yep, Dan immediately snaps snaring. We'll see if Alan's gonna pass. Dan gonna show him the Bolt, and Alan's gonna be dead. See if Alan makes him attack. He is. He's going to make him turn his creature sideways.
Yeah.
There we go.
Never concede.
All right, game 1 going to Dan Dewan playing this Grixis control deck. Yeah, this looks like a pretty stock Grixis list. Maybe he's just a little higher on Cryptic Command than we've noticed. But he didn't draw any that game.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah, didn't draw any Cryptics, which was good.
I mean, yeah, Cryptic is
It's fine.
it's fine. In
It
this
would have
matchup.
been fine that game. He wasn't doing anything.
I think it would have been fine only because Alan was mana screwed.
Yes.
Usually, my experience with Cryptic in this matchup is you counter draw a spell, and then
then
your
they
opponent kills you.
Yeah.
One positive to it is that I've had is counter bounce Ascension with like one counter on it or something like that, because the Grixis deck has a very few ways to beat a
Just
a resolve.
a non-creature.
Yes,
Permanent.
non-creature.
And Enchantment.
Yes, enchantments. Yeah, it's basically just enchantments.
Yeah.
Got that command for artifacts, but
Yep.
you oftentimes just need Cryptic for that. We'll see how the players side where Dan immediately pulling a Cryptic out. They're very expensive. You can't
Yeah,
keep
they're very
four.
expensive. He's on the draw this game.
Oh, looks like he wants to cut.
Terminate is...
I like the idea of cutting a Delve threat, just because you only ever really need one.
You shave a Tasker.
I think you shave Angler just because it's more expensive.
But it is...
Oh, hey, Cubs fan. Oh, yeah, Will, if I remember correctly, it was good playing against you. Yeah, I know you messed up with the Dismember. I was told about that afterwards. Unfortunately, I think you definitely would have beaten me. But you know, that's how Magic goes sometimes. But it was very nice meeting you. We'll see. I want to see what Alan has in his sideboard if he wants to board anything, and I'm pretty sure the only card that's relevant is Defense Grid if he has access to it. Defense Grid is a house.
It seems... That's just kind of stock, right? Defense Grid. Like, the card's just...
Yeah,
I don't know.
The cards that are always in the Storm sideboard are like Lightning
Empty
Bolt,
the Warrens.
Lightning Bolt, Empty the Warrens are the ones that are always there, and then usually I think it's pretty common these days to see the White Splash for Wear Tear.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it helps against Affinity. It's just a
And
really
it's-
strong card.
So, such low cost.
Oh yeah. I mean, you play a Hallowed Fountain in your
Yeah.
deck. It's fine. It's just basically better than Island. Ooh, I did see Alan board in Blood Moon as well.
Ooh.
Blood Moon, okay, like Dan is playing a deck with islands and swamps, but he's a 3-color deck. And like, despite the fact that he has red spells, we're in a format where the red spells, we're in a matchup where the red spells are just not good.
Mm-hmm.
So Blood Mooning here is pretty reasonable, and it's
Especially so that Alan is on the play.
yeah, being on the play, man. The fact that you can just turn to a Blood Moon with this deck
Yeah.
is just rude, I would say.
It is.
Oh my god, just like your opponent plays like a creeping tar pit on turn 1, and then
Yeah.
you're just like Ritual Blood Moon go, and the Grixis player just like looks at their hand,
Yeah,
pretty
like,
sad. How do I get out of this? Like, the Storm deck does need a fair amount of blue mana in order to cast all their cantrips, flashback, desperate ripping, stuff like that. But 2 islands is more than enough to work off of, and oftentimes even 1 is good enough.
And the turn you're going off, you usually have more blue?
Yes,
Like
just
Manamorphose?
from Manamorphose, yeah. It's also, I think, I like the idea of Alan boarding it in specifically on the play. I would be much less excited about it on the draw. This is, I think, a common thing that the Storm deck does against mid-range decks. Just bring in the Blood Moon on the play, just because you can get them so bad.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see if he does
Did
have
you see how many
access to it.
copies of Blood Moon?
No, I saw only, at least 1. Looks like there are none in his hand, though.
If I remember correctly, it's usually like 2 or 3 Blood Moons.
In the sideboard?
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. That seems to be the consensus number. But Storm players are, there's no like unified way of sideboarding against a lot of these decks. I mean, Dan does have a basic island in his hand as well as a fetch land, so we'll see what he does. Ooh, I think we're gonna see a fetch of a Watery Grave here. Given how he was looking at that Serum Version, he's going past the islands in the swamp. I mean, this is
Probably, it's probably the best fetch given that he has Mountain Island in hand.
yeah. Oh, Basic Mountain. I am so against the Basic Mountains are just so bad. And all these Grixis decks, like
Yeah.
you have to play Basic Mountain because people play Burn. But like the fact that you draw it sometimes when you're not playing against this deck, especially in the version that Dan's playing with multiple cryptic commands.
Yep.
Oh my god, Basic Mountain is
It
just
is
the worst.
awkward.
So bad. At least he'll have Terminate up on turn 2, thanks to Basic Mountain.
Yes.
All right, Dan gonna draw a Bolt. It's gonna be a few too many. It's a lot of bolts to draw in this matchup.
So what do you think of Dan leaving in Terminates? Did you see?
I saw him board at least 1 out.
Okay.
I I would try to board out as many as possible.
Yeah. They seem not great.
No. Like, Bolt is just the more versatile card by a wide margin. I did see the Hallowed Fountain, so Alan definitely does have the splash. I wonder if this is an end-step Thought Scour here. It really depends on what's in Dan's sideboard, because it's very reasonable that he just doesn't have that many relevant cards in this matchup.
This is true.
Like the Grixis deck, like you can have like some Dispels, maybe some Negates, but like beyond, maybe Counter Squall.
You mean needs more blue white cards?
Yeah. But beyond that, it's pretty unexciting. Okay, so Alan is going to end step. He did Thought Scour himself on end step. We see Dan's hand, and it's pretty bad. Terminate 2 bolts, Angler, and 3 lands.
15 from the probe.
Yes, and I think once again we're going to see that this matchup is this is going to be pretty important for Alan to hit his land drops. Right now he doesn't have it. Doesn't have a second land. And he bricked on it again there. He has another probe. Oh, God. It feels so bad to fire off this probe when you have Ascension in hand. I think that's what Alan is considering right now. Yeah, he's just going to... It's pretty important if he draws a land here to play this Ascension. Yeah, now he's in very, very good shape. Right, dangerous.
Yeah, it's just tough for the Grixis deck to deal with a resolved Ascension.
Yeah, it's tough for any blue deck, really.
Yeah.
Like, the blue decks in general, like, this is the best way to play against them, is just sneak in an Ascension underneath the counter magic, and then the counter spells just stop being relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, once you get a second counter on that Ascension, like, it's just like, you need twice as many counter spells to deal with what's going on. It's basically impossible to keep up with. Alright, Dan going to split off the Serum Visions. Decide what land he wants to play here. He does have Dispel, so he could keep that up this turn if he wants to. Or he could keep up Lightning Bolt. If he keeps up Bolt, he's more likely to cast Angler next turn, which is probably pretty important.
It's definitely important. I'd probably keep up Bolt.
I think you want to Bolt because Alan's at 13.
Yeah.
Like, you're pretty close to killing him.
And it's...
Oh yeah, second Ascension.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And this makes the Dispel look even worse.
Oh yeah, it does not look good here. I think Dan topped a Snapcaster match, so he's gonna have access to Dispel and Snap Dispel, but like because he didn't play the Mountain. Okay, so here's another issue with playing the Island is he can't Bolt Snap Bolt this turn.
Yep.
And I would be very interested in doing that. Just immediately putting Alan to 7. He's gonna be 6 after this fetch, but the Island is gonna be just. Leaving up Dispel is going to be, I think, a little bit too conservative there.
Yeah, it's like you're playing around, like...
Manamorphose, I guess? I mean, you're playing around him killing you that turn, basically.
Yeah, but, like, I guess, I don't know. Like, if he... Yeah.
Oh, boy, this is very good. Desperate Ritual. I would not let this resolve.
No. Alright.
Is that Storm?
I
think that's Storm.
That looks like Storm.
Yeah, and Dan's going to Dispel this. Get that out of here. I don't know if I was Alan, if I would have even led on the Desperate Ravings, because it's possible you draw like a probe off this and just turn on your Ascension. So I think leading on Serum Visions is a little bit freer.
Or even just like any other cantrip, right?
Yeah, I think another Serum Visions or something. Yeah, all right. The quick fix of I saw the third card down. No graveyard, no deck order is known besides that, since those Serum Visions earlier were milled by the Thought Scour. Looks like we have a split of that Serum Visions and then just a pass.
So now he goes for the Bolt,
which I think we expected at this point.
Yep.
I terminate just rotting in his hand. There's another Snapcaster. You don't even need to cast the Angler here. When you have Bolt and Snap Bolt, I think you just
pass.
I think you just play a land.
Tar Pit. It's awkward. Yeah.
No, I would not play Tar Pit. I think he has a fetch land. Oop.
No, I think it's his only land.
Although Tar Pit is also lethal next turn. I think because you just need to leave a, more importantly, Snap Dispel.
Yes.
All right, now this is going to be where Alan has to go off. He's drawn a third Pyromancer's Ascension. Usually you're okay with that, but he's taken a lot of damage from his spells this game. Alright, Dan confirming how these cards work with one another. Let's see what Alan leads on. Alright, here are the triggers from Desperate, from Pyromancer Ascension. And we're going to snap Dispel. Nothing Alan can do about this. I don't believe he has any more 1-mana spells. I mean, this has to mean that it's going to be that he has lethal next turn, but until then, I think he's just got to pass. So this is 7. Dan has a... I don't think Dan has the kill this turn, though.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have enough to...
Burn him out.
Yeah.
He's got the fetch land, but he only has 6 points of burn available right now. Don't really need to play the Angler. I don't see much of a point. Because you have the Tar Pit, you necessarily have lethal set up next turn. Oh, I wonder if he's going to snap Visions this turn.
I don't hate that.
No, I mean, like, what else is your Snapcaster doing? Like, you want to, I mean, you basically just want to draw another counterspell, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's like the bolt is, extraneous. You don't need to...
It's 1 mana. It's no real cost to leave it up.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to tap that land anyways. And, like, doing it this turn versus next turn is not that... Like,
well, I mean, like...
only the first bolt
You wouldn't want, like... Yeah, you wouldn't want... Like, the second snap, or, He has 1 bolt in hand. Snap casting back a bolt is, like, way over lethal.
Yeah,
so,
it
like,
is.
it just doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. We'll see what Dan decides to do here. I feel like he might play Gurmag Angler. I wouldn't be too surprised, at least. Like, his options are basically just play Gurmag Angler or pass. Like, nothing else is necessary. Play Gurmag Angler or Snap Visions. I think he's just going to play the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I almost like just Snap Visions better.
I think you need it to lethal on next turn, though. 4, 5, 6. Does it cost 7?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, there we go. Now we got him.
Okay.
Yeah, this is fine because he has both the Snapcaster and the Bolt in his hand.
Yeah.
I would have been tempted to Snap Visions.
Yeah, he's just still dead. Like,
I think he's gonna be in a lot. He's got to get pretty lucky to not die this turn. Basically, Alan has to deal damage to himself.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the copy of Sleight of Hand.
But even then, he doesn't have the mana to... Like, he only has 3 mana up.
Yeah. No, he's bolted. Oh, you're right. It's 4 mana. Yeah. All right, so here's the second slide. Here's the actual copy of Sleight of Hand. Oh no, sorry, second copy. I'm pretty sure Alan's gonna draw his deck this turn.
Yes, I would not be surprised.
Every time I've turned on 2 Ascensions playing this deck, I always draw my deck.
Yes.
It's so easy. Like once, look at this. This Sleight of Hand just saw 6 cards. You know, this is better than Ancestral.
He's got Desert Ravings in hand, like Manamorphose. It's gonna be. I mean, it'll be at some point. It will be trivial for him to play and activate this 3rd Ascension.
Oh yeah. We'll see what he wants to lead on here. So here's Manamorphose with 2 copies. Yeah, this Manamorphose costs 2 but nets 6.
Yep.
All right, so he's deciding which one's blue, which one's red. Don't think you need any other colors. All right. Oh, that's the storm
Yeah,
count.
that's Storm.
So 1 and 1. 1 and 1. And 1 and... Last one, he's just going to add 2 red, it looks like. Oh yeah, this is way insanely lethal.
Yes.
Here's Electromancer coming down. Storm going to 3. At this point, Alan actually only needs to Storm for 7. Since he has both Past in Flames and Grape Shot in hand.
Oh, he has Grape Shot in hand?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Then.
Man, Alan didn't even respond. He's just like, yeah, that's fine. It's dead. Like, he could have more rituals in his hand.
So Storm is
4.
5 with that Paretic Ritual.
Yeah, and he's just like, you're insanely dead. I have you. And I think that's wise. Dan knows he's not making it out of this turn. So Alan getting out of there just in time. I wonder if it would have been a little bit different if Dan had Snap Visions that turn.
I feel like you have to. Like, the Angler just doesn't do anything.
No, casting Angler is not it doesn't change anything.
Mm-hmm.
Considering you already have the Tar Pit and the Snapcaster in play and the Bolts in hand. It's probably just wiser to look for more interaction.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all right.
But Even if he finds a counterspell,
He's
it's
probably still dead.
dead.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I just don't think you're beating 2 active Ascensions.
Mm-hmm.
Is our monitor frozen? I think we're still up. Don't know if that's a problem here. In any case. Sorry. I'm trying to see if our computer is being a little bit frustrating here. What the heck? Oh my goodness. Oh man. Sorry about this, guys. I'm sure this is nothing's going on your end. This is us just having our own annoying issues based on our own stupidity. There we go. Alright, that works. Okay, yeah. Alright, let's... Sorry. I don't know if the chat has been going or not, but we have not seen it. Because
Yes.
looks like our internet, or at least our browser was frozen for a little bit. This webpage is not available. That's interesting. I don't think Twitch is down. I believe we still have internet. I don't know what the issue is. Seems like we're connected. Moobot might be down. That's a possibility.
I don't know how any of this works. So.
I am not an expert. I am unsure of everything. Let's go to our dashboard. Okay, it looks like we're live. Sorry, it just looks like we haven't been able to see the chat tonight. Offline. Oh no, we're online. Alright, we got things going. Sorry about that. Our internet was being very frustrating. Our browser is not helping us out. Everything's going great, is what I'm just trying to say here. We got a game 3 for you guys. And we're going to watch it. Once I can go to Moobot. Hey, there we go. Alright, I think we can see chat again now. Actually deal with this. Oh, fantastic. Good. Back to normal. Everything works, I imagine. I'm going to assume everything's
Is
working.
it too ambitious to get back up the preview card window?
No, it is not.
Yeah.
We got to make sure everyone knows that Pilgrim's Eye is too good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure most people knew that it was too good, but I want them to be aware.
There's just a gentleman's agreement to not play it.
Yeah, that's usually what it is. Everyone agrees we're not going to play Pilgrim's Eye. It's too powerful. It just warps the format.
Yep. There's just so much value. You get a 1/1 flyer and a land.
It's perfect. Well, like I think the real issue is how it destroys the color pie.
Mm-hmm.
Like most people are just so used to playing Borderland Ranger and Civic Wayfinder, and Pilgrim's Eye really it's much like new Phyrexian mana. Like it's crazy that I don't pay any life to play this card. I think.
I mean, this card's like... This card compares favorably to both Mental Misstep and Dismember.
I would agree. I think that the camera's just... I'm pretty sure someone messed around with it. Attempt to fix it?
Attempt to fix it.
Alright. Oh yeah, we couldn't see CPT, but also hello. We'll see if we can get it a little bit better here. Looks like Dan is deciding on a 6 that has 2 counters in it, but no blue mana. I think he's definitely tempted to keep this. Oh, this is better. Oh, Kevin did a good job. Yeah, he's got an Angler, he's got a Mana Leak, he's got a Spell Snare, but his lands are Swamp, Blood Crypt. He's just going to pass and hope to get lucky. Alan with a Hallowed Fountain and a pass. Dan with Swamp and Go. Let's see what Alan draws. Again, there's no blue mana. He does have an Ascension in his hand. I don't believe he has the land. Or else I think this isn't... Oh, no, he does. There's Scalding Tarn. And this is going to be a turn two unanswered Ascension for Alan. I am not a huge fan of Dan keeping this hand.
What have we got? Visions?
Some blue spells and no blue lands.
Oh, definitely not a fan.
It's the main crux of it. He had Snare, he has Snare and Mana Leak, but no blue land.
He kept 7?
Yep. No, he kept 6.
Kept 6.
Ooh.
I feel like...
Ritual? This looks like an Empty the Warrens to me. 5. Yep.
Alright, get him.
6 goblins go.
Yep.
He's got Ascension, he's on the play, it's just like, he's not beating 6 goblins. Alan might be right. I mean, you have the backup. Attack for 6, put you to 14. Play an Ascension. Now you got him dead in a lot of ways. Oh, a Mana Lake, right on time.
I mean, it's like, yeah, what answers does Dan have to 6 goblins?
He could draw Island and have Staticaster in his hand. That's it. Maybe an Electrickery.
Maybe an Electric.
I would assume not, considering that card is pretty bad.
It's terrible.
There was a point where it was okay.
There was a point.
When lots of people were really into Young Pyromancer.
Well, the card is fine, but should probably not be in his deck.
Nope, I would agree with that.
For it.
Staticaster's the card you really want. Oh boy. Dan drawing only blue spells. Not ideal.
Definitely not.
I think Dan's deciding if he wants to concede or wait until he draws and then concede. Electrickery is not great, CPT. I think Electrickery is a very narrow sideboard card. Oh, discarding a hand size. That's perfect.
Very narrow.
Yeah, I was just going to attack for 6. I think Dan's about to just reveal this this wonderful hand here. Or terminate a goblin. Nope, no terminate. Just nothing. Go to 2. Pretty sure there are no draws in Dan's deck which get him out of here.
Probably not.
Alright, here's a Desperate Ritual. Counter on Ascension. Oh, he can put a counter on using Empty the Warrens. I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to do here. Oh no, he's going to flashback Empty. Put a counter on. So he's got, I think, just 1 red floating now. Alright, so he can't get 2 copies of that, but he can get 2 Thought Scours here if he wants to. Which is not terrible.
It is not terrible.
Doesn't really matter at this point.
No.
Dan can't do anything. What other board wipe would I use in red? Pyroclasm?
Rough Tumble.
Rough Tumble's a nice one. Electrickery... In Modern, I think it's more important to have stuff that deals with a little bit higher toughness, more or less. Like you just play against, like, Affinity or something like that. Or
just have a little... Like... if you compare Electrickery to, like, Staticaster,
yeah.
like, one of them just has a lot more utility and a lot more matchup.
Basically, yeah.
So, like, it's just...
More powerful.
Yeah, like, Modern is a format where you have to... All your sideboard slots have to do, like, double, triple duty.
They have to do a lot. Modern is such a wide format, and there are so many powerful combo decks that you just need to be able to do things. And Dan can reveal the grip. Oh, yeah. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Kept no blue land, drew a blue spell every single turn. Pyroclasm does hit your own creatures, but... I mean, you could play... What, Bonfire? That's also ambitious.
But sweet.
It is sweet. I don't miss that card at all.
I don't either.
Yeah, God, Bonfire. What a... We talked about this a lot on the drive back from Milwaukee about how much some of us hated Miracles and some of us enjoyed them. Mostly me hating them. I hate Miracles.
Pretty much hate Miracles.
Yeah.
It was just so aggravating. Like when they're in Standard, right? I played a lot of aggressive decks.
That sounds a little strange.
Control decks are playing fucking Terminus. That, like, yeah,
just get
6 mana. It's like 6 mana, not even remotely castable. You wouldn't want it in your deck. But when you flip it off the top on turn 3, and just like hits 3 creatures, yeah, it's great.
Oh yeah. Alan has white in his deck for Wear Tear. That's, I believe, the only white card in the 75. Silence would be sweet. I love Silence.
Ooh, I'm also a fan of Silence.
I don't think Silence has not really found its way into Modern outside of basically Ad Nauseam.
Yeah.
It was in eggs a little bit, but eggs you could basically play anything because the deck was so broken.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what like your 5 flex slots were because you had like 54, 56 cards that were just done for you already. Yeah. Ellen usually does play Affinity. I think he only brought him 1 Blood Moon and 1 Defense Grid. Am I seeing that right? Oh yeah, look at that beautiful 9th edition Defense Grid. 8th or 9th edition. I don't hate the idea that people have had of just banning 8th and 9th edition from Modern.
Yeah.
Get rid of the Tron lands, get rid of Blood Moon, get rid of Choke.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate that at all.
I wouldn't hate it.
Get rid of Summer Bloom.
I also don't really care. I don't know. I like Blood Moon.
You like Blood Moon?
I would ban everything else and keep Blood Moon.
Well, Blood Moon's already in Modern Masters. Yeah, so you can't get rid of it. Yeah,
oh, yeah, I'm all for it then.
Yeah, like you can't.
I like Blood Moon existing.
You can't ban a set. Like that doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
But you can remove a set from legality. But like in that sense, you'd have to like do that and then ban Blood Moon because of everything in Modern Masters is legal, and that's a little too much work. It's not like they put the Tron lands in there. Like the Tron lands are only in 8th and 9th edition. I wouldn't miss them.
Yeah.
The only Tron decks I ever liked playing were the blue Tron decks. Green Tron is just the bane of my existence. Yeah, it looks like Wear Tears were just the only white card.
I've pretty much not given up, but
come close.
I've pretty much given up on. Like if I was gonna play Tron in a tournament, I would play mono blue and not blue white.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at right now.
I'm the other way around, just because I would. You just like can't take Gifts Ungiven away from me.
Oh, I would play some Gifts.
Okay. Gifts Ungiven is just such a fun Magic card.
Sweet.
Hey, David. Welcome to the chat. Welcome. Gifts is just one of my favorite cards of all time. I can't like. I try and fit it into most decks that I play, which is not great. But it's more that I try and play like Gifts decks, like specifically Gifts decks at any opportunity.
Yeah, they're great.
So
and it's
much
also
fun.
like I love the because you play. Let's alright.
Oh,
I love playing against people who like maybe haven't had much experience with Gifts, and so you cast Gifts Ungiven and they're like, "Whoa, all right, this card's good." And then you look through your whole deck, take some time, pick out 4 cards, and they're like, "All right, like what busted cards is he gonna pull out and beat me with?" And you're just like, Gifts, Thirst for Knowledge, Snapcaster, other random card. Like, here you go.
Or
do it again next turn.
How about you give them Sun Titan, Ojutai's Command, Detention Sphere, and Wall of Omens. What are your thoughts on that?
I like it.
Not bad, right? How do you win? Thanks, David. Yeah, I appreciate it. Would you have to pre-register for the battle pre-release? I recommend pre-registering. Also, I'm pretty sure it's just cheaper if you pre-register.
It is cheaper if you pre-register. It is $25 to pre-register, $30 day of.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would recommend pre-registering, honestly, just for the money. Just save $5, might as well. But yeah, because it's usually pretty crowded. I'm missing it this weekend, and I'm pretty sad about it.
What are you doing this weekend?
I'm going camping.
Ooh.
I've never gone camping before.
Where are you going camping?
Black Hawk Memorial Park.
No idea where that is.
North Wisconsin, somewhere.
Okay.
But I've never really gone camping.
Camping's sweet.
Is it?
I like it.
Okay.
But I can see why most people don't.
There's certainly things that one would not like,
yes.
right? You've been building the Blue-White Titan deck. It's pretty fun. It sucks pretty bad. I don't want to go that far, but I would probably I would say like it's 95% unbeatable. Is how I would describe the Tron deck. Sorry, the Titan deck.
The only way to not lose is to draw with you to lock yourself up to top 8.
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much the only way to get around it.
Or just get paired against Twin. I played against Twin 0 times in the tournament. And my claim since I've started playing the deck is that you are not good against Twin. So yeah, run hot. If you play against a bunch of decks where Wrath of God is good, then you're just gonna keep winning very easily. Or Burn. Burn is a fine matchup.
Yeah. You gotta get lucky to win a Magic tournament.
Yeah, like
Dodge Twin, no big deal.
Yeah, it's fine. Modern is a wide format. As long as you have game against everything, then you're in an all right spot. Yeah, the camera gets kicked. Oh my
good
god. So I make this threat every week that if they kick the camera, I'm going to kick them. And I haven't followed through yet. But I think I'm close to following through with it this week. Because that's unrealistic. Look at that. You just kicked the living crap out of our camera for no reason. How was that necessary? Oh, goodness. Alright. I've been thinking about a lot of Battle for Zendikar stuff. I've mostly been thinking about Standard, just because I'm playing in Indianapolis the weekend that the set is released, so I'm going to be playing the first weekend. Trying to figure out what I want to play that weekend. It's really difficult. But yeah, okay. I know. We're supposed to make tape marks, but the issue is that the camera is not necessarily in the same spot every week. It's something we sort of have to play around. Like, we basically have to decide what the best spot is. I don't know why we keep changing it, but we'll figure it out. Okay. The tape is clearly the right solution here, but they're just like something is always like slightly off that we have to deal with. I won't get into it. But Battle for Zendikar. I've talked a lot about how I don't think the set is very well designed in general.
How do you sideboard for Grixis Twin with that deck? What do you usually sideboard for Grixis Twin with UW Amiri?
I would board in Negate.
Yep.
Dispel.
Yep. Did that.
I'd probably board in the Surgical.
Did.
I might board in the Stonecloaker.
Oh, really? I was thinking I didn't board that one.
I might. It's just like random value against Snapcaster Mage, just more up against it. And beyond that, the Purge, the Disenchant.
I didn't board in the Purge or the Stonecloaker, but I did board in the Disenchant.
I think the Purge is better than the Disenchant.
Really? Yeah, you're probably right.
Because it gets both the combo and Tassiger.
That's true. You probably should have done that.
But yeah, Purge is just like your fifth path.
That was like the closest I ever came to beating Grixis Twin with that deck.
It's
very. He put me to 3 and then like had a bolt, and I was like, oh, you left it in? No, because I was wondering. He played the Deceiver Exarch into my onboard Spellbomb, and I was like, all right, and then he just goes like on his turn, terminates my wall, attacks for 3, bolts me, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, that's a little awkward.
It was really gross.
I've mostly in the games I've played, I've mostly lost to getting comboed, but because
he didn't combo me at all, which was like the brutal part.
That is crazy. Was it Sean?
I forget what his name was. But yeah, okay. So you say negate, dispel, purge, disenchant, cloaker.
Probably cloaker.
Iffy, but yeah.
I like surgical a little more.
Yeah.
They're both okay against Snapcaster Mage. Is basically what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And if you can like get a combo piece, it's probably really good. Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to play the matchup more, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
Good luck.
Thank you.
It's. I'll go do it. We'll switch. You talk to the chat.
All right. So we're never going to get this blue tape off the bottom because the leg is up against the tape.
That's fine.
All right. All right. So yeah, we got a couple minutes left in the round. Some matches still playing, but yeah, I don't know. Is there anything you guys want to see in particular? We can try and scout around for next round. Let us know in the chat. But yeah.
Sounding good?
It's never going to be perfect.
No. Oh my god. Ah! It's crooked. Ah! This is our nightmare. This is what we deal with every week. No 2-mana red removal. Do you mean in standard? Draconic Roar, man. Card's really good. Ooh, let's see some Soul Sisters. Oh god, I don't need to see Soul Sisters. My friend texted me the other day. He plays Burn Online, and he said that he finally got paired against Soul Sisters, and it was as miserable as you would imagine.
Yeah.
Do you have Modern Bird online, or just you just
Standard.
Okay, yeah, that's. He said every other time he played against Bird, he'd been playing Infect. So this. Sorry, he played against Soul Sisters.
Okay.
And so he went from 90-10 matchup to 10-90 matchup. It's not great. It's not great at all. I'm pretty sure there are some fringe decks here tonight. Nathan is playing the Sun Titan deck.
Did he win his last round?
No, he lost to Grixis Twin, as expected.
Yep.
I think that matchup is winnable, but I think it is extremely hard to win.
The third color makes it better for you, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'd much rather play against Grixis Twin than Blue Red Twin.
Yeah.
Tasigur is big.
Tasigur is big, but
you can just kill it.
Yeah.
You can just ignore it. I think you just leave in. I think against Grixis Twin, you want to leave in some Wraths. Is the big difference, because you just need Supreme Verdict in particular, just because you need answers to Tasigur. That card's just very big and can get him a lot of value. One annoying thing is Kolaghan's command. I think that's why I was thinking about boarding in Surgical and Stonecloaker, was just to deal with command and Snapcaster shenanigans. Mostly, I want a Surgical or Snapcaster. I don't want them to have any Snapcasters.
Yeah.
The fact that their deck is so good that way, you can beat the combo.
Just gives the deck so many options. So flexible.
Card's amazing.
Card's good.
Best, probably the best. Probably still best or second. Probably best card in Modern.
Probably.
Maybe. What's your other argument?
What else is there? Lightning Bolt.
Tarmogoyf.
Not Tarmogoyf. Snapcaster's better than Tarmogoyf.
Is it? Is it necessarily?
Okay. Not necessarily.
Jund is pretty good because of that card.
Yes.
Right now. Tarmogoyf is so big.
Yeah. But Snapcaster's great.
I know. Anyways, we won't... this is not a useful conversation for anyone. The cards are all obviously insane.
Yeah, the only reasonable conclusion is they're both great.
Yes. That's why people will sometimes put them together. Hey, Ned, did you win your first round?
I did not.
What are you playing?
I'm playing Blue-Black Fairies.
What'd you lose to?
Blue-White-Red Control.
Or
Kiki Control, or whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really frustrating.
Yeah.
You're playing a deck that's really good against that deck.
Yeah.
You play against Vinny?
What?
Play against Vinny?
Vincent? Yeah, I played against Vincent.
Did you not resolve Bitter Blossom?
Correct.
That's, that's usually how you're supposed to win that match.
Yeah. My deck's much worse without Bitter Blossom. It's surprising, really.
No, it's not. If I could have Thoughtseize Bitter Blossom in my hand every single game, I'm pretty sure Fairies is a top 5 Modern deck.
Yeah, for sure. And then 5 cards deeper, there's one exactly a Cryptic Command, followed by...
Or a Mistbind Click or something, anything like that.
Yeah, I only drew... I had Bitter Blossom in the second game, and I jammed it on turn 2 into open mana, and he spell snared it. I think it's correct to still run it out there, because he has more 2-mana counterspells in his deck than he has 1-mana counterspells.
Yeah, no, if you're on the play, I think you just jam Bitter Blossom no matter what.
Yeah, and he was after the game, he was yeah, I have 1 spell slot in my deck, I just had it that time.
Yeah, exactly. Right, well. They need to get, that's how lucky they need to get. I played the other side of that matchup a lot, surprisingly. Playing a blue X control deck, blue-white, usually blue-white-red control deck against Fairies, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah, with Bitter Blossom, it feels fantastic. Without Bitter Blossom, it feels kind of medium to medium light.
And they just burn you out, right?
Yeah, it doesn't feel very good. Their creatures are all much better than mine, pound for pound.
I guess what does he have in his deck that's...
Restoration Angel is better than everything I have except Mistbind Click, which is kind of awkward to get into play if you don't have Bitter Blossom.
And all your threats are pretty fragile against targeted removal, right?
Sure, for sure.
That's what's so insane about Bitter Blossom is that it's just there.
Yeah,
you put it in play, and your opponent has, and the entire game is around it. But then, if it's not in play, you have just a bunch of Spellstutter Sprites and Vendilion Clicks and Mistbinds, which might not be able to champion anything.
They all look pretty embarrassing versus Electrolyze.
Yeah,
especially because I think I'm pretty sure. Yeah, even with Spellstutter Sprite, which in theory seems good, they can still bolt it with the trigger on the stack, and then you have no fairies in play and you counter nothing.
So bad,
it's disgusting. So I don't know.
We'll try and get Fairies on camera.
Oh, God.
Just because Ned is exciting. If you play a sweet matchup next round, we might get you on there.
All right. We'll see who I play.
Or you'll just win out, and we'll put you on the last round.
All right. I prefer that one.
All right. Me too.
I think we all would.
How do you think your matchup is against Pilgrim's Eye?
Oh, terrible. I mean, like,
Terrible.
look at
Blocks
that. That
from
trades.
Daily
It
Click.
trades with the Bitter Blossom token.
I did that.
How can I attack with my Bitter Blossom
You blocked
tokens when you have
Click with
Pokemon Eye?
I didn't. No, I never got that lucky. I always blocked like 1/1 tokens with that card.
Yeah.
That card blocks Tarmogoyf really well.
Yeah.
Like every creature in the blue-white deck, it's just there to
Yeah.
block Tarmogoyf.
Yep.
I was
Throw it in front of the Goyf until you can eventually Sun Titan them back.
Yeah, I showed my buddy at work. I was telling this your deck list, and then like he was like, they reprinted Pokemon's Eye in the new set. I was like, oh, they messed up.
Yeah.
That's way too good for
They don't,
standard.
They don't know what they just did. Oh my god.
You can't put a modern staple in standard and
Next-
expect it to not warp the format.
Next thing you're gonna tell me is that they're gonna like put Mortar Pod back in the set, and that's just gonna ruin standard. What are you gonna do? It's just gonna be Pilgrim's Eye versus anti-Pilgrim's Eye. Like it's too much to think about.
Yeah, well, people will be playing Motor Pod just to gun down other people's Pokemon's Eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's too much. I think right now I'm just in the dream sequence of turn 2 Jace Vryn's Prodigy, turn 3 Mantis Rider, turn 4 Siege Rhino.
Yes.
Is that crazy?
I saw a 4-color. I mean, like, I think that I would be into that, but I would accept also if instead of a Mantis Rider, you had a Savage Knuckleblade.
Yeah, I'll do that too. No
That
fear at
is
all.
also-
That or turn 2 like any 2-drop into Knuckleblade into second Knuckleblade, give it haste, attack for 8.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I really like the idea of Knuckleblade, Mantis Rider, and Siege Rhino all in the same deck. Maybe Anafenza too, but that's a lot of 3s.
Yeah, that's a lot of 3s.
Is Anafenza better or worse than Knuckleblade?
It depends on how.
Knuckleblade, I think, is a more powerful card.
I was going to say past the early turns Knuckleblade, but in the early turns Anafenza.
Yeah.
She's just such a fast clock. You have to dedicate no mana to her, and she just pumps everything up.
What if you're playing Hangerback Walker? Is Anafenza better? Just for the possibility of putting counters?
I think.
Anafenza is probably.
I think so. I think that's probably correct.
All right. Just thinking about my magical dream world where I get to play all these cards together.
It's also like, so let's say you go like.
Anafenza is also. I'm trying to figure out which one is technically better against Languish. Like, Knuckleblade, if you have obviously if you have mana up, is just impossible to kill.
Mm-hmm.
But Anafenza puts counters on things, tries to put them out of Languish range. I don't know. How many colors are you going to Indianapolis, by the way?
Yes, I am.
For the Star City Games?
Yes, I am.
Do you have space in your car?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry, chat.
Do you have space for me?
I still have space for you too.
How many colors do you want to play the first weekend of Indianapolis?
2.
Okay, so Steve is boring. Wants to play a 2-color deck.
I want to play
Boring,
4.
too.
Ooh, David, I like that you cut Cryptic from Grixis Twin. You just don't need it. It makes your mana so much better by not playing Cryptic Command in that deck. You can play like Blackleaf Cliffs and like more or less just more red and black lands in your deck instead of having to fetch for blue every turn. Also Jace, yes. Oh my God, Jace Vryn's Prodigy in that deck is amazing.
Yes.
Do you want to play Jace in your 2-color deck? Or do you
Yes,
want to
I
play...
do.
Okay. What 2 colors do you want to play?
Blue-black or blue-white?
It's blue black or blue white, and then I might splash third because it's free.
Yeah,
It is free.
Esper is very good mana. Do you want to play Dragon Lord Ojutai in your deck?
I don't know.
I think in either deck you
Probably.
build, you want Dragon Lord
Probably do.
Ojutai.
I actually just bought cards that would be conducive to me playing Esper Dragons.
What did you buy? Ruinous Paths?
About like
No,
Pusher of the Hordes.
I bought like the Languishes and like
Okay.
the.
What are we putting in next?
Who do we have paired?
This is last round.
This is last round.
I know. I'm just looking at who we have. Do you know who won between Dominic and Nick?
Nope.
Do you know?
Kyle won with the burn die.
Sam Eyes did lose though. We did
To Kyle.
This.
Yeah.
Let's put Kyle on just because it'll be a quick match. It's burn.
Herman.
Kyle Fucci. Fauché. Quashwa. I believe is his name. He is playing a deck with, I believe, your deck.
My deck.
With this good creature in it. This is a good creature.
Card's great.
People thought this card was really broken when they. Oh, we're frozen. Are we frozen? Oh, okay. A lot of people were really worried about this card coming back. I think. Are there any tokens in the room? I have heard that. I have heard that, Will. I don't think there's any tokens in the room at the moment. But we do have.
Not usually that many.
Looks like we do have Kyle. I don't know who he's playing against. Can't tell. I'm just gonna go out and check. Ah, there we go. Sherman's got the pairings. Thank you, Sherman. Kyle is playing against Nick Barrios.
Okay. Could be playing... Nick Barrios could be playing Burn.
Ooh. The Mirror? I don't know what Nick usually plays.
For some reason, I have Burn in my head. But... Oh, nope. I saw Spell Snare.
Spell Snare. That's pretty okay.
That's okay. It's not good against Wild Nicol.
No, it is not. Nor is it good against Swift Spear or Goblin Guide. Really just good against Atarka's Command.
Boros Charm.
Are those the only twos in your deck? Your deck is
Blaze.
your deck is really good against Leyline of Sanctity. Right? Like, as far as like I guess because you have Lava Spike, it's worse.
Yeah.
Is that a reason to not have Lava Spike?
Well, it's like I think Lava I don't know. Lava Spike, Boros Charm, those cards can come out in a lot of matchups, depending on how interactive you want to be.
Plus, you can like still get someone with Boros Charm, like just giving a creature double. Like at least if your opponent leylines you, you still have an option.
Yes.
With that card, which has got to be pretty valuable. Not that I've like played a lot of post-board burn matchups in my life, but I'd imagine that it does mean something to be able to have uses for your cards, even if your opponent has like a lock piece essentially in play. Well, this hand looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
Maybe one more land than you want. Does he have... Oh, he doesn't have...
So he doesn't have...
He has 2 mountains? That's kind of awkward. What do you do on... Do you just make 2 2/2s on turn 1 then? Sorry, do you just...
You just...
Fetch?
I think you just fetch Stomping Ground.
Okay.
There's no Temple Garden in the deck.
Oh, there isn't? I thought there was.
There was. There's not anymore.
Okay.
It was
Hey,
pretty
Cook.
bad.
Yeah, the Temple Garden seems horrible.
Yeah, it was
You have
terrible.
Searing Blaze in your deck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
And Eidolon. It was bad.
This is sort of the pitfall. Like when the fetch lands in this deck are super good, but only having 2 basic mountains and just 1 fetch land with the double Nicatl draw, I think you just keep anyways because any fetch land just turns them on immediately.
And like, you're still just playing 3 1-drops.
Yeah. Like, what, Draconic Roar? Draconic Roar is great. What's wrong with that? Atarka's Command is also real good. I think we're going to see Kyle...
Atarka's Command is fantastic.
Yeah. Both obviously in this deck, but also in the context of how new Standard's going to shape up. Oh, boy.
The only real issue with Atarka's Command in Standard recently has been, like, how much damage you actually... Like, you have to play 4 mana confluence to play Atarka's Command, basically.
But now you have,
you don't.
what, Cinder
Glade.
Cinder Glade. I was like, I was almost called it Cinder Glade Shaman. Yeah, David's on Atarka's Command.
I will also be on Atarka's Command.
Shocker.
Yes.
Big shocker. I think we're going to see Kyle go to 17 here. Oh, yeah. Stomping Ground. Hit and play. I'm pretty sure Nick's just on straight blue-white control. I saw a couple Wall of Omens in there. Saw a Mana Leak. Real close to my heart.
Yeah.
Stuff I like. By the way, I think this blue-white deck will definitely play Prairie
Stream?
Prairie Stream. I think Prairie Stream is
think so.
often better than Hallowed Fountain.
Yeah, you're already playing... I mean, you're playing a bunch of basics in this deck, right?
9.
And, like...
in the Emiria deck, yeah.
You often fetch for a Hallowed Fountain tapped on turn 1?
Yeah.
So, like...
So,
there seems like relatively little downside.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Looks like we got a Swift Spear. Attack for 3. Poor, unleveled up Nicatl. Let's see if Kyle decides he wants to spend a Rift Bolt or not here. I think you just play the second Nicatl. Like, he's not going to Wrath you next turn. He doesn't have, like, a good way out of this.
And it makes, like...
This next turn, Atarka's Command, completely ridiculous. I'd agree. All right, I'm going to go try and fix the camera right quick, but you keep entertaining the troops.
Yep. Alright. It's tapped Hallowed Fountain. So we're probably going to see something... I mean, so Nick's a little bit under the gun here. I'm not sure how many Hallowed Fountains the blue-white deck actually plays. I would not be surprised if it only played 1. You really just want to play a lot of basics.
Look good?
Yeah.
Not different?
Not really that different.
I think that looks better. That looks way straighter.
Okay.
we just got a whole bunch of blue tape here. Ah, yeah, Wall of Omens. Get in there. This is Tarkus. I think you just still snap off that Tarkus command though, and the lava spike.
And the lava spike.
Yeah, no reason to wait.
Yeah, you just
get in all the damage
just
you
fire
can.
off.
Especially because if he blocks the Swift Spear, it'll at least eat it.
Mm-hmm. If he blocks, oh yeah, he doesn't have.
Fetchland would have been still pretty excellent for Kyle. Fortunately, it seems like he's breaking, but he's drawing a spell every turn. I think right now just doing some math. Here's a spike. Put you to 13. How many spikes are you playing? 3? 4. 4. All right, and here's an attack that appears to be for 6, but in reality is going to be for about 1 million. All right, let's see if Kyle decides to pull the trigger here. I don't think you wait.
You just fire it
Don't
off.
give him
And
more time.
He blocked the Swift Spear, so you get to eat the Wall of Omens this turn too.
Which can be pretty useful here.
Yeah.
All right, so here's 3 damage, +1/+1 the team. So this will put Nick to 10, down to 4. And now you only need to connect with 1 creature for this Rift Bolt to be lethal.
Yep.
Pretty gross. Yeah, Targus Command is pretty great with 3 1-drops. Nick trying to see if he has any way out of this one. Colonnade right on time. He has Kitchen Finks, but it's not going to come down.
That is not going to do enough.
I think we're in the play Wall of Omens Miracle Tournament. No, doesn't even get there. Draw. Oh, wow.
Ooh, that would have been a draw.
Would have been really good. That would have been pretty amazing. Unfortunately, Nick going to pack this one in. The blue-white deck has a lot of real powerful options, though, post-board against this deck.
I mean, we just saw Timely Reinforcements.
Timely Reinforcements just... I mean...
So much time. Like, it's obviously... It's not going to win the game on its own.
Oh, yeah. Just being able to go Timely into, like, jump block some stuff and then Wrath...
Yep.
Is going to be pretty excellent against this deck. Looks like he's got some Dispels he wants to board in. He had a lot of cards. That's pretty bad news for the burn deck, usually. Oh, he's got... I'm pretty sure he has 4 main deck Kitchen Finks as well. Oh, I think this is Yuya's deck. We'll see if there are any Snapcaster Mages hiding out, but it looks very much like Yuya's deck with all of the Kitchen Finks and like, yeah, I think a Pact of Negation. That's an interesting one of. Is that a Valorous Stance? Get that out of there.
It is a Valorous Stance.
Get that out. Yeah, there you go. I think he had 3 Verdicts in his deck. I would probably not want the full 3. Walls are great. Path's great. D-Sphere is pretty good. So he's only decided on 4 cards he wants to cut.
Yeah, he's going to need a few more.
I mean, I think I like cutting anything that's more expensive. He's got a Condescend. Interesting. I would definitely want to cut at least 1 Wrath. Like, Wrath is good against the Naya deck more than it is against a conventional burn deck because of Nikatl, and it also is even against the burn deck, I don't like cutting Mana Leak.
No, I don't either.
On the play, especially. I can definitely see cutting it on the draw. But the reason I like Verdict is so strong against this deck, just being able to kill Eidolon without triggering it, especially with Wall of Omens in your deck, you're able to buy so much time that the burn deck kind of is forced into overextending a lot of times. And I found this actually come up even playing the Titan deck. Mm-hmm. Like I was cutting Wrath and it felt correct, but Eidolon ended up being a little bit annoying in those scenarios. What it really meant is that you would just, if you could hold your path, you would, because oftentimes the burn deck is forced to just fire off a Searing Blaze on like a Wall of Omens, and while I mean both players are generally okay with that interaction. The control deck is much happier.
Yes.
Between the two.
Yeah, I mean, Searing Bliss is obviously great. You still get the 3 damage, but like, you just don't get to play another creature. And like, the fact that you have Wild and Nikatl in your deck, you're more. You want to play creatures. You want to Tarkus Command for like 8.
Ooh. All right, so Kyle looking at a hand that's just mono burn spells. On the draw, with 3 lands. None of them are. It's just not enough damage. I think. I mean, like, what happens if you draw 1 land here? Can you win?
I don't.
I mean, 2 of them are Skullcracks, so he's good against effectively Skullcracks. So dealing with any possible like Kitchen Finks or Timely Reinforcement shenanigans. This is a tempting keep.
It is tempting.
Do you think you would mulligan? Like, can you keep a hand without a creature?
I think you can. Like,
even on the draw. Like on the draw, is it more tempting?
Yes, on the draw, I don't even know. Like, it's just not. It's just like it's not an exciting hand. Like, it's easy. It's so... I don't know. Like, it's just so easy for you to just not do anything this game and lose.
His hand, I gotta say, is very good against Spellskite.
Yes.
The deck in general is very good against Spellskite. All right, and of course, as speak of the devil, there was a Spellskite in Nick's hand there, which has no text. Literally every card in Kyle's hand only hits players, which is it's pretty funny. I mean, okay, so right now Kyle has 13 points of burn in his hand.
Yes.
If he draws Goblin Guide on turn 1, I think he'll be in basically... That's like the best thing he could do.
That's like the best draw.
Goblin Guide, yeah.
Or Wild Nikotl, I guess.
Yeah, I guess any creature...
Guide is probably better than Wild Nikotl, but...
I wonder if you cut Guide... No. I was going to say do cut Guide on the draw, but I just don't see... Like, just because of Wall of Omens. If there's any temptation to do that. But, like, I think you just need all your creatures.
I think you do.
Do you play Grim Lavamancer in this deck?
There's one.
There's one, okay. Is that the only non-4-elf creature?
Yes.
It's just like Nikotl, Guide, Swift Spear, and Eidolon?
Yes.
Yeah, you have quite a few more. I guess just 4 more creatures about. 2 or maybe 3?
So it's really just...
Oh boy.
You really just, like, replace some burn spells with Wild Nikotls.
Okay.
Or, like, you know, the... whatever... Shard Volley, whatever...
Yeah, whatever the extra burn spell was. Kyle drawing an Eidolon on turn 1. That's not a bad one. I think you just fire off the spike now.
Yeah, you just spike here.
Use your mana every turn, you know.
Yes.
We'll see if he decides to shock or not. It would make sense to get a Stomping Ground here, but I can see getting a Mountain being fine.
So was his hand 3 fetches?
Yes. No, 2 fetches and Sacred Foundry.
2 fetches, Sacred Foundry. Yeah, you just shock.
He does have a double Tarkus command, so
yeah.
You probably just need to get the Stomping Ground right away. Especially if you ever want to fetch a Mountain later. And send you to 3. We're both at 3. We're both at 3. No Spell Pierce waiting in the wings for Nick. I think Nick kept a hand with a bunch of really good white cards and no white mana. Oh, hello, Celestial Colonnade. Yep, there's a Kitchen Finks, there's a Wall of Omens. All right, I think Nick's gonna be able to draw out of this mulligan to 5. All right, land is a pretty horrific draw. So here's the downside. So if Kyle jams Eidolon and Nick plays either Wall of Omens or Kitchen Finks, like Nick is pretty far ahead. Because all these burn spells are just going to be pretty low impact. We'll see what Kyle wants to do here. Because like Eidolon's necessarily going to be much worse later. I think. I mean, once we get into the Restoration Angel part of the game.
Yes. Yeah, once Resto starts coming down.
Things are bad.
Things are bad.
God, I love Restoration Angel. All right, Kyle going to take 2. Indicating basically nothing, because all the cards in his hand cost 2 mana.
What do you think of just passing here?
I don't think it's crazy. Especially if you expect Nick to go like land
pass.
Kitchen Finks or something like that. Or like land Timely Reinforcements. Although Timely wouldn't do anything. He is...
Yeah, Timely... I think you're fine with the Timely.
And here's a wall. I mean, this works out fine. You just Boros Charm him.
Yeah, you Boros Charm him either way. If he has Finks, you know, you get Tarkus Command.
Ooh, and now he shows that he doesn't have the land.
Which is great.
Ooh, I do not like leading on a command. I think you just definitely lead on the charm.
So if you command, you can put in a land. And then have Eidolon plus 2 spell plus spell next turn.
That seems, what's the word? Completely unnecessary. Maybe it's the play. Maybe I'm just like...
I literally never used the mode.
Let's see.
So,
I think he's thinking
he's
about it. He's definitely going to deal 3 damage. Like, you might as well, right?
Yeah, like, if you're casting a Tarkus Command, you put in a land.
Yeah, and he's doing it, yeah.
Sick.
That is the first time I've ever seen that happen. I think we're going to see that happen a lot more in Standard. With all the landfall things.
Landfall. Yeah.
Like, especially in an aggressive deck, like with the landfall creatures, if you just go 2-drop landfall guy into 3-drop landfall guy into fetch land, a Tarkus Command, put in a fetch land.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage.
Attack for 1 million?
Yes. Approximately 1 million.
There's a reason I want to play a lot of Fiery Impulses in the new format, and that is a big reason why.
Yes.
You just don't want to die those little guys.
Every deck that I've started putting together in my head starts with like 4 Wild Slash.
I want to see. I want to be as controlling as possible, obviously. So I want Fiery Impulse hide now, but that could be wrong.
Womp womp.
Kyle did draw Goblin Guide this turn. Turn too late. He has a few more options this turn. I mean, again, if he wants to hold up for Skullcrack, then he can only really play one creature. And it's probably going to be the Eidolon, since the Goblin Guide has haste. He's just going to pass.
Passes again.
Nick just drawing a Celestial Purge, and he's just going to have to pass back. We'll see if Kyle decides to even fire off this burn spell. I don't think he's going to.
I could see... Well, you definitely don't a Targus command, right? But you might Boros Charm?
Yeah, I'd be tempted to Boros Charm. Like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Nick, it's reasonably likely if you're Kyle to think that Nick has some counter spells in his hand. So I'd be tempted to just do nothing and play around Mana Leak. We'll see what he wants to do.
But, I don't know.
Jam.
Playing around Mana Leak is only like... Yeah.
Is he going to Skullcrack here? I think he wants to empty his hand before he plays Eidolon.
Yeah.
So he doesn't take too much damage. Nick says that's okay. Goes to 11. If you're not going to play around Mana Leak, you definitely play both of these. Oh, they both resolve? Yeah, that's huge. Now Kyle's going to be able to... If he draws a spell here... Oh, yeah, that's great.
Riftbolt?
I think you just empty your hand.
Oh, yeah.
There's no reason to hold these cards. So here's a Goblin Guide.
Which, like... I kind of like playing Eidolon last turn, because this turn you get to attack with... Like, if you play Eidolon last turn, this turn you can attack with Goblin Guide. I mean, he has the Purge in hand.
Yeah. I can't tell him not to play with his cards, CPT. There's more thought that goes into burn than people realize, I think. But no, I agree. I mean, most of it is just deciding how you want to sequence your spells. Almost all of it. All right, so here I believe this is
Goblin Guide.
I think it's in response to the Eidolon
Okay.
because he can just play the Finks.
Right.
If he draws a land, specifically a white-producing land, ooh, Temple of Enlightenment.
Ooh.
Scry, I think it's a Supreme Purge. I think we're going to see that one go to the bottom. Oh, I think he has 2 Purges? Where'd he put... Wait, what? How did he kill the Goblin Guide? Oh, no. Yeah, it's 2 Purges.
Yeah.
Sorry, the card that has glared the hell out right there at the top is a Celestial Purge.
So Kyle's going to go to 11. Nick will go to 4. Did you see what that draw was?
Lava Spike, if I
Lava
believe.
Spike.
You run the attacks here? Absolutely, right.
Absolutely.
Lava Spike.
There we go. Oh, yeah.
Block. Snap block. Lava Spike actually locks Nick from playing spells that cost whatchamacallit, 3 or less.
3 or less.
That is huge. Burn spell there was a really great draw by Kyle. Lava Spike's so good, doesn't get dispelled.
Yep. it's
Impossible
great.
to Mana Leak. Alright. Nick needs a pretty big brick from Kyle this turn in order to get back in this game. He does have a Restoration Angel, I
I
believe.
mean, there are a decent amount of bricks.
Oh no! Don't play 3-drop! Don't play 3-drop! It's gonna kill him. Trigger.
Oh.
Trigger, you die. Yeah, Nick realizing this right now.
Womp womp.
Yeah, he had his 2 timelies. Oh no! I want to know what was the top card. No, don't shuffle it. That was unfortunate.
There are a decent amount. I mean, there are a decent amount of bricks.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
any creature is a brick. Any
Well,
any creature or land.
yeah, because Resto.
Yes.
Yes, any creature or land.
Yeah. Really unfortunate for Nick there. I think he just didn't realize the interaction. Looks like Kyle did board in Revelry, which is interesting. I wonder why. Maybe to play around, maybe for Sphere or Spellskite. Probably just blind for Spells. Or probably blind for Leyline. What do you think?
I feel like Leyline isn't that common.
I don't think so
Out of
either.
this especially out of like a deck like this.
It is a blue-white deck, but I still wouldn't expect it.
I wouldn't really expect it. I'm actually more interested in just like paths.
Path, really, for what?
It doubles against Spellskite, and it's like
Kitchen Finks?
Finks, Resto.
I guess
And, like,
Resto's just
you
really
don't
annoying.
really want to get a wall out of the way, but like if you have like an awkward draw, I'm like, I don't think you want to board too much, but Rampager. There's one Rampager on the board. I would bring it in.
That seems great.
Yeah.
Gorklan Rampager?
Gorklan Rampager.
My God, you're a complete madman. All right, so that's it for that match. I'm gonna run out and see if we have another match going on there, and we see if we can get some more Magic shown. It was a quick match.
Yeah, deck's great.
Go figure. Burn.
Yeah, Phil's Inspire. This blue-white deck is really sweet. Alright. Yeah, UW Scryland was not a good draw there. Ugh. Yep. Yeah, burn to start every round is not that bad. Turn one. Alright, well we'll get this camera fixed again. But yeah, we'll see who's kind of undefeated, see if we can get some on camera. Yeah, 20 minutes. It's great. So, yeah.
Can you put a temple guard in your deck?
What?
Can you put a temple guard in your deck?
There used to be. I cut it. It worked out though.
It didn't matter.
Yeah.
But it would have been better.
Yeah.
These targets, like, if you hadn't made that block, the target's man would have worked no matter what. If I had a temple guard.
Yeah.
But, so,
Yeah. Full art lands, you don't have to wait. You just get the you just play with Zendikar or unhinged ones. Also, I do not like the full art lands in Battle for Zendikar. I think they are just not very good. Which is how I feel about most Magic art these days. It's hard to beat, you know. I don't know. Everyone has their preferred Zendikar lands. I always go with John Avon's, but like it's hard to beat just like, you know, unhinged lands, unglued lands. Alright, so it looks like we got alright. So it looks we got Nick Poros versus
Nick Paris.
Nick Paris.
Alright.
Who's he playing? The other dude.
He is playing Brendan McElroy. Porus? That's not how you spell his name, is it?
No, it's not. It's Paris.
Isn't it a PA?
I think it's just wrong.
Is it just wrong on his like DCI information?
I think so. His name is definitely PA.
Oh my god, they hit the camera?
It was Nick when he got up.
Oh my goodness. Alright, we got Brendan versus Nick here. I think Brendan is on a mono-white aggressive deck versus Grixis Delver.
What is it?
I think it's Grixis Delver versus mono-white aggro.
Nick's definitely on Grixis.
Paris, right? P-A-R-S. Grixis Delver, good deck.
Yeah, next week.
I still won't play Delver. You can't make me. This is game
I really
three,
want
right?
to play more games with like Abbott and like
Ooh, Abbott sounds pretty sweet.
I was actually talking to so I was talking with like Ryan Forsberg and Greg, whatever. I don't know if you know them. But about like, you know, kind of a Grixis, you know, Pat Chapin prowess deck.
Oh, that sounds like exactly the kind of thing Ryan Forsberg would like to play.
Oh, yeah. And then I started talking about that, and then he showed me, he pulled out his phone and showed me just straight blue-red, like 16 lands with, like, Delvers. Of, like, you know, that type of deck. He wasn't playing, like, Mishra's Baubles because you're playing Delver.
Sure.
But
Why not?
Sweet.
Look at your top card. See if you're gonna flip your Delver. Or even better, see when you don't flip your Delver. Will, I'm surprised that $50 is all. Actually, no. $50. I'm assuming that means you don't have very much of the deck at all, considering how little the deck costs to make. It's pretty fun. What you need the lands for? How many of each? You should usually get like 17 of each basic or something like that. If you're gonna do draft lands, is usually what I go for. Yeah, I just used Michael Siegel's list card. I had one different card. His 4th Supreme Verdict was a Wrath of God.
Just playing gifts.
Yeah, I could have played also a Day of Judgment, but uncounterability is surprisingly relevant.
Yes.
All right, looks like Nick is going to Spell Snare this Gather the Townsfolk after a Soul Warden comes in. Yeah, Brendan's playing like a human Soul Sisters deck. Okay, so whoever asked for Soul Sisters, this is the closest we're gonna get. Perfect. Let's see if Nick flips his Delver.
Woohoo!
All right. Best card.
Card's great. Why wouldn't you play it?
Mm-hmm. All right, attack for 3. Delver is pretty good against the mono-white decks, but Soul Warden is notoriously good at racing.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I wonder if this is a Delve creature. She's got the Blood Crypt. Takes 2.
Playing with those hideous remands.
Which one's the
dual deck.
Oh, God. So gross. I like Brendan's basics, though. Keep him draft box.
Oh, yeah.
You know, attack for 3 here. Let's see if Nick's just going to take it. Nothing really to fear in his spot. He's got Kolaghan's Command. He's got basically all he needs. Alright, we'll see. Make you discard and deal 2 to Soul Warden. It looks like Brandon has a land and an Archangel of Thune.
Well, it's a good Kolaghan's Command.
Yeah, Brandon doesn't hit that land. That's going to be pretty great for Nick. Because that card is... I mean, you got to terminate it.
Yep.
I think Nick does have Bolt Snap Bolt for it, but...
Still.
If he was able to resolve that with Soul Warden out, that is terrifying. You got a Dryad Militant.
Ugh.
Another annoying card.
I hate that card.
I just forget it as text all the time.
Yeah, I lost a cube match. Opponent played a turn 1 Dryad Militant, and I couldn't beat it.
Couldn't beat it is pretty strong.
It's maybe a bit of an over-exaggeration.
Was it?
Not by much.
I was like, I'd be surprised. It's a pretty annoying card.
Yeah, I mean, I had this janky Storm deck.
Oh, yeah. Do you have like Yawgmoth's Will in your deck?
Yep. And Time Spiral.
Alright, Nick deciding how he wants to kill that thing. Alright, he is going to bolt the Dryad Militant. That bolt does get exiled. Based on state-based effects. I think, yeah, they're going to... Alright. They're calling a judge specifically because of this. So the way it works, because it's Lightning Bolt, so it's damage-based removal, what's going to happen is that the bolt is going to go to the graveyard, and then Dryad Militant will be checked for state-based effects. So, before it goes to the yard. So basically, the bolt will already have gone, quote-unquote, to the graveyard.
Resolved. And
Yeah.
is in...
Bolt will resolve, so it'll get exiled by the Dryad Militant's ability. Note that this is different than if, perhaps, Nick had terminated the Dryad Militant. Because it's part of the resolving the spell to destroy the creature, the Dryad Militant will go there before Terminate resolves, to the graveyard.
Damage does not kill creatures.
Exactly.
State-based effects kill creatures.
Based on taking lethal damage.
Yes.
Here's a zombie fish. Delving 1, 2. Nick does have a Snapcaster in his hand. 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7. Leaving Kolaghan's Command for the max Snapcaster value. And holding up Remand. This is a real tough spot for Brendan to get out of. This is just the great... Oh! Hello! But that's naming Angel. I have to imagine. Well, here's an Archangel of Thune.
Oh my goodness. Yep.
That was a good draw. Cavern of Souls. Well then. What now? To be honest, if I was Nick, I probably would have cast Remand. And just drawn a card. It's not getting better.
I think so as well.
Like,
it's his last card in hand.
Yeah, like what else are you gonna do? Holy crap. Alright, so he jams for 2. just into the angler. Don't love that attack. I mean, Nick just has to draw a Terminate. Oh, he drew Dismember. That'll do it.
All right, there we go.
No fun. This guy. Man, I was really hoping that this Archangel was just going to run away with the game. But, yeah, there's the Dismember. Get on out of there. And here's an attack for 8. And Brendan's not in a good spot.
David, I would not play any Regents with 21 lands in the main deck.
Oh, red.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you play. I think you could play like a 22nd land and Regent in the sideboard or something.
Yeah. There's also like
Regent's pretty great.
Yeah, I definitely. If you want to play 4, like you can play 4, but then you definitely want the 22nd land.
Yeah,
you can definitely get away with at least some number between 2 and 3 4-drops on 21 lands.
All right, Nick declining to kill his opponent. Nice guy.
The 4-drop I actually am interested in the main deck is Pia and Kieran Nalaar.
Pia and Kieran Nalaar is
card's
a
great.
nice one. It's just Siege Gang Commander.
Yeah.
Grizzly Bear. We're doing the old draw step, make you discard your card and deal 2 to you. Little cute. Could have just killed the token and killed Brendan.
Yeah.
But he wants to be as cute as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, Draconic Roar. Oh, you want to play Draconic Roar?
You need more dragons, I think, if you really want to play Draconic Roar.
I think the minimum
It
number of
definitely
dragons
has-
is 6
Yes.
for Draconic Roar. And I think you want 8.
I want 8.
Yeah. I'm really interested in playing many colored dragon decks.
Yes.
But, alright, in any case, Nick gonna win that game. Grixis Delver conquering Mono White beat down. Ooh. Core Firewalker is an interesting one. I'm always tempted to bring in Firewalker against decks where Bolt is their primary removal, but I'm usually disappointed if they have things that can ignore it. Like for instance, like Core Firewalker is a card I generally try and only board in against burn decks. Where the life gain is particularly relevant, like the Progenitus part is like not that important, because like a Grixis deck can just play like a Delve creature or something, or even a Deceiver Exarch if they're playing Twin, and just completely brick wall the 2/2 body. So I try and avoid bringing it in unless I'm playing against a dedicated Lava Spike deck. But in any case, that's going to end that match. Should I go out and check if there are more things, or should we talk about how many Draconic Roars are playing in Standard? I can go out and check.
Let's go check.
All right,
we got
I'll
20
check.
minutes left. There's probably some still playing, but
I think so. There were many matches that were in games 2 and 3 when I went.
okay. All right. You just can't. Languish is not. So like Thunderbreak Regent is equally as bad against Languish. Yeah, Core Fireworker is a good Magic card. Very good in the matchups where it's good. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm like Draconic Roar. I'm not interested in playing Draconic Roar unless I have enough dragons to make it reliably a Searing Blaze. Just because, yeah. If you want like just 3 damage, I feel like Fiery Impulse is maybe better in that slot. Assuming you can, reliably turn it on, which you should be able to in any deck you're playing. You want to be playing Fiery Impulse, especially in like the red deck. You're playing a lot of burn spells. But I'm actually, Pia and Kieran Nalaar is a card I am actually very excited to play with. Namely, in combination with Hangerback Walker and the Tarkus Command. Hey.
I don't know how I'd be like my nightmare match if I did.
Yeah.
You
drew the Dismember.
Yeah, game 1, he went to like 35 from like a turn 2 Martyr. I was like, alright.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to win. But
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, he, when you like Colligan's commanded him and made him discard a card when he had 4 lands, he discarded a land and had Archangel in hand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, this card pretty much for use for right now.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty much all in on Tarkus Command. Building mana bases is too difficult. Yeah, there really isn't any, like there's definitely a hole at kind of the 3 damage burn, 3 toughness removal at instant speed. I think you just have to not really care. I think that the number of games you lose by drawing a Draconic Roar and no dragon when you're not playing enough dragons, that is higher than the number of games where you would want, maybe just the straight 3 damage with no Searing Blaze. But I think the lack of 3 damage spells is more. It's less about trying to fill that, fill the 3 damage burn spell slot, and more about configuring your threats to take advantage of that.
It's more about playing more. I think it's about finding the right 2-drop threat.
Yeah.
It's kind of stinks when there's no Eidolon, right? Like Eidolon is just like so good.
That's great.
God, I'm not gonna miss that card at all. Just gonna go back to losing to that card in Modern where it belongs.
So okay, what do you think about Pitiless Horde?
Pitiless Horde?
Pitiless Horde.
I don't hate it. It's 3 to dash, right?
It
Black
is.
2.
It is 3
No,
to
it's
cast.
3 to cast.
2 black to dash. Okay.
I'm not a huge fan.
That's reasonable.
It really depends how many It really depends on a couple things. One is that I think one issue I see is that it's probably worse than that black-red with haste. That's just the same thing.
Yeah, Deathstalker.
Yeah, which is basically the same card, right?
Pretty much.
You just can't cast it on turn 3. So
Yes.
Pitiless Horde might be better in that sense.
There's some trade-off.
For those unaware with what Pitiless Horde is, which I thought was Pitless Horde for the
Pitless
longest
Horde.
time, didn't make any sense to me. This card hits hard. It's just been gone because of Lightning Strike. Really, you just can't play it.
Yeah, I mean the losing 2 life is definitely
That's relevant.
that's very relevant.
I'm a big fan of that flyer, the black-red flyer, the 4/3 second creature during your upkeep, and whenever you second creature draw a card.
Oh, it's black. 2
Black,
black.
yes, that card.
That card seems sweet.
Seems very powerful with those Bloodsoaked Champions you just bought. Bloodsoaked Champion, I think, is going to see a significant uptick in play, at least in the beginning of this format. I would like to Brutal Expulsion it, but that's a lot of mana. I want to That's the card I want to try the
Brutal
most.
Expulsion. That card's good.
I want to bounce some spells.
So I don't have any exact list for red post rotation, but
I'd imagine it's
Abbots,
yeah.
Swift Spears, less than 4 Zergos, 3
Probably
most
3
likely.
Zergos, yeah.
Lightning Berserkers,
Dragon Fodder, Outburst, a Tarkus Command.
yeah,
Firecraft.
I could see playing a few less Dragon Fodders.
It's not a good card.
It's not very good. I
No.
definitely want Hordeling Outburst. I think that card's great.
Yep.
Chandra is an option. I like Pia and Kieran Nalar. Maybe main deck. Definitely side. Outpost Siege side. Could play Roast.
You got 4 roasts in your set.
Roast.
I saw that Tom Ross's list had, or the list that he was in a versus video had 4 hangerbacks in the sideboard.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting to me.
You could also just play main deck.
Yeah,
Say, fuck it.
it's fine.
Card's
It's
really
a,
good.
It's a little slow. It's just a great
definitely
card.
slow. Yeah.
I'm not going to be playing a red deck anytime soon, I hope. I know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just like playing more lands in my decks.
Why? You get to draw so many more.
You don't have to. I know you say you have to. I say you get to. I loved making my land drops. It's great. Hitting that 4th land and just slamming a Rhino or a Languish or...
Actually, I do like hitting my 5th land, so I can go Abbot into Firecraft.
Ah, yes. That is a beautiful place to be. I don't know what I want to play, though. I think I'm waffling between a million things. I'm probably going to decide at the very last minute of what I want to play. The challenge is going to be getting cards, as always.
Yeah, which is probably why I'll be playing red.
I mean, it's really... I mean,
At least for week 1.
At least
Like,
for Indy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I think, the most tempting time to play red.
I don't want to have to deal with... I don't know.
Finding anything more than 3 red-green dual lands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever, 2-drop land.
Or 4 or whatever.
And I need or something,
Yeah, you already have your 8 fetch lands in the rest of your red deck, so it's not that much
Yep.
harder to put everything else together. For me, that's why I was looking at a few weirder decks just to try and get away from that. But I'm definitely interested in a lot of 5-color decks. Or Lumbering Falls decks.
Yeah.
Lumbering Falls is sweet.
I'm very interested in playing, like, some 4-color aggro deck.
Yeah.
Whether it's, like...
Not 5-color?
Not 5-color.
Oh, come on.
Whether it's, like... Yeah, I don't know. Whether it's, like, Siege Rhino Crackling Doom.
Okay.
Or, you know...
Or Mantis Rider Savage
Mantis Rider,
Knuckleblade.
Crackling Doom, or Mantis Rider Savage Knuckleblade. Like, these are all kind of where my thoughts are going.
If the mana base can support it, I'll do anything. I'm ready for anything.
That's I feel like the biggest thing.
How many Berserkers do you think you want to play?
I'm not really sure. I really like that card. I've played 4 in the past.
4 must have been bad.
So I played 4 like a couple times, and then turned the 4th Berserker into the first Heel Cutter in the main, which I was much happier with. I've been pretty happy with 3 Berserkers.
I think you're going to have a few too many 3-drops in your deck to play that many Heel Cutters, though, given that you're going back to playing Hordling Outburst.
Yes.
Though Heel Cutter is just a really powerful card. Really annoying card
really
to play
good.
against, yeah. And you probably still have to play 4 Wild Slash.
Oh, yeah.
Because other people are going to play red cards.
Yep.
And you got to beat those people. Just like also always one of the best cards to hit with your prowess guys. Just so cheap.
It's just you can usually get extra damage out of it.
How do you feel about collateral damage?
I like collateral damage.
Another reason to play Hangerback Walker.
Another reason to play Hangerback Walker. The card's just like you kind of have to warp your deck a little bit.
Yeah.
But it kills Mantis Rider if you have like
nothing else. Yeah. I mean, you don't have that many good answers to that card besides just like throw some idiots into it and Wild Slash it or just like Firecraft it.
Yeah.
Firecraft is expensive.
And yeah. And, you don't have Stoke at instant speed anymore.
Yeah. I don't know about allies. I'm worried that there are just not enough playable allies and not enough like powerful allies. Like it's really getting me that there's nothing. There's just like no. There's no Hada Freeblade, you know.
Yeah.
There's no Kazandu Blade Master.
They're all situational. It's like they're all just unexciting bodies with situational effects that like may or may not be good.
Yeah, like you can always just ask yourself what happens if I collect a company into the 2 best ones? Because I have to imagine that allies would be a collect a company deck.
Yeah.
Because that's all tribal decks these days in any format. But if you have something as powerful like there's nothing like in Modern where you can hit like 2 Oran Reef Survivalists or something like that, and like all of a sudden you just have like a million triggers that you're dealing with, but you attack for a million damage. In Standard, I just don't know if you have a high enough quantity of good threats among the allies. You do have the ally land, which is great, it's super helpful. Being able to play any rainbow lands are going to be really powerful, given that there are a lot of really good colorless lands right now in the format, and the mana bases are still sort of up for grabs. Patrick Chapin's article today was really helpful for outlining how 5-color mana bases are supposed to be built, but I don't know. I legitimately am unconvinced until I play some games. I want to be proven that these things are good enough, and you don't just go like tap land, tap land, tap land, tap land, tap land.
Yeah, that's my issue. Is like I keep thinking of like all these like playing all these colors, and like I'm just not. I don't know. Like I'm not really. You know, the mana bases will get figured out eventually.
Yeah, people will get better with them, but I don't want to show up and just get run over.
I want to be running people over.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I want to be. You know, like when you're playing 5 colors with whatever mana base that may or may not, that's maybe like slightly incorrect. Those, you know, that's slightly incorrect. Is
You just like
games.
You're like you have like Siege Rider in hand and you draw your 4th land and like it could have come into play on tap. Like you draw like a Canopy Vista and you have like 1 basic in play and you're just like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Like it is going to be, I think, a big gameplay decision a lot of times. Like because you're going to be playing a lot of fetch lands in your decks, which is another reason to play red.
Mm-hmm.
Or just another reason to play red and life gain. Like you need to be aware of how you're fetching and how your fetching will basically put you towards the rest of the game and make sure that all your battle lands will come into play on tap later. And that's like tough. Like one of the puzzles that like Chapin had in his article was like, all right, you have 2 fetch lands and a basic in your hand. How do you make sure you can go Jason and Mantis Rider into Rhino? It's not trivial.
It's
not trivial at all. Like you need to be aware. Running 3 Dragon Fodder, 4 Outbursts. I think that's like certainly almost correct, if not the right configuration. You definitely want 4 Outbursts.
You definitely want 4 Outbursts.
Yeah.
Dragon Fodder is just very weak.
But it is one of the best cards you can play on turn 2 after a Swift Spear.
This.
And it's like
probably true.
And you still
Dragon Fodder gets so much worse without Founder's Shoot Down.
Yes, but you still have a Tarkus command, so multiple bodies is really good. And there's no Drowned Sorrow anymore.
That's true.
Like there's just Radiant Flames, which is like which is a card that'll show up in sideboards.
Yeah.
Like Languish is still 4 mana.
Yep.
So I think 3 Dragon Fodder is, if it's wrong, it's not wrong by much. Like you can play 3, you can easily play 4.
Yeah. It kind of depends on. It really, because you're playing. I'll be playing 4 Abbots.
Yeah, but Abbott's like only a 2-drop when you have no other 2-drops.
Yeah. I am interested in the Landfall 2-drop red creature. I think that card's good.
McKindy's Slide Runner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just play like 8 between like 8 and 12 fetch lands. Probably like 10 fetch lands.
Yeah.
Is what you'd want to play for a card like that. But that card, I mean, it attacks for 4 on turn 3.
Yeah. Like
4 damage is a lot.
That card's powerful. And you could go more heavy on the landfall stuff.
Yeah, you definitely can. Plus, like, you're already running a Tarkus command, so you have the option of just going, like, a little bit heavier. You have more options as far as the Tarkus command is concerned. I do like the red-green aggro deck with, like, lots of landfall guys.
Yeah.
How many lands? Did that deck have 26 lands?
Yes. I can't believe it. I will not be.
You're playing a landfall deck. You need a bunch of lands. You have a Tarkus. You're really taking advantage of put the land into play off a Tarkus command. You just like make you 26. 26.
That's so many lands.
Oh, just get them.
26 lands.
When every single creature in the deck has either prowess or landfall, I think you need to hit your first several land drops. If you miss a land drop, your creatures just don't do anything. Right? I know it hurts you to play that many lands in your aggressive deck. It really pushes you in a weird direction.
Yeah.
Maybe 26 is like 1 too many.
Yeah.
1 or 2 too many. I can easily see 24 being correct.
I could see 24.
Just like don't want to play that many.
I just don't want to play that many.
Like when I play 26 land decks, that's when you start getting into the point where I'm playing like you just snap off 4 landers every time, 4 and 5 landers. You're just like, all right, whatever.
Like,
but you can't do that in a deck like that.
No, because like, what do you like? Let's say how many 4 or 5 land hands are you gonna open up where it's like
2 threats, like
Swift
Spear,
and
2-drop
slash?
Yeah.
Like, you can't keep that. That hand's terrible.
No, I don't think you play any Draconic Roar, David.
Yeah, I feel like Draconic Roar is something that you really. It just doesn't deal damage to players.
Yeah, I would think about it more. It's more of a removal spell. It's just like a bad roast in the red deck a lot of times. Like I
would play in this red deck that we're talking about. I would play main deck roast before I played main deck Draconic Roar.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I don't think you need to play either of those.
I agree.
Like you'll certainly have enough that you can deal with creatures on their own. Like I think Heel Cutter is like your main deck roast if you're going to play something like that. I feel like I've talked more about mono red than I have in a while. This makes me feel very dirty.
It's great. It's
not
thought-provoking, isn't it?
Yeah, thought-provoking. Yeah, which 1-drop am I playing in my deck?
The 1-drops aren't the question.
Okay, I'm sorry. Which 2-drop and which removal spell am I playing in my red deck? It's all exciting stuff. Hey Dan, did you win your second round? That's great. Dan learned how to keep a hand with blue mana with all blue spells. I hope chat lambasts him for that keep because it was
a little greedy.
A little greedy is, I think, the nicest way you can describe it. Instead of insane. For those unaware, it was Spell Snare, Mana Leak, Tassiger, Gurmag Angler.
No, just one. Sarah.
Tassiger's Serum Visions, Swamp Blood Crypt. On the draw against Storm. Note, we will note, Spell Snare is his best card against Storm. Mana Leak is also very good, not as good on the draw, but like if you have Snare, it's great. But those cards require blue mana, and Dan did not draw blue mana. He drew a blue spell every single turn for the rest of the game.
Yep.
And very easily lost.
That's great.
Yes, it was. I think Dan is just used. I think Dan just saw Swamp and Blood Crypt and he's like, "Oh, great! I can cast Thoughtseize into Lily on it very easily. I don't need the green for my Goyf just yet."
Confidant in the middle.
Yeah, it was a Confidant. Yeah, turn to just go Inquisition into Confidant. I can easily win this game. I'll draw my green mana. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's great.
The man's insane. The man has no problem. Has several problems. All right.
Become immense.
Oh yeah, definitely play Become Immense. Play a one of. It's free.
It's free.
It's so free. Sounds like we have pairings for the next round. I can go out. I'll go out and grab them from
Wait,
Sharon.
I was gonna maybe go smoke cigarette very quickly.
All right, you can go.
I'll also find people.
Who won the feature match?
Who won? Who did win? Nick Paris won his, and
Kyle.
And Kyle.
Oh, Kyle.
Grab me a thing. Arnold Palmer? Yeah. All right. No problem, David. Just doing our best here. I'm not a mono red expert, but yeah, I will take care of that. I am.
They have not posted pairings.
Oh, okay. We don't have pairings yet. Oh my god, this is the worst mouse in the history of computers. There we go. You know the mouse isn't good when you need to hit it in order for things to work. There we go. Got that. Alright. Man, I want to pull up cards I'm interested in playing. I want to know what chat thinks about this card. This is a card I've been trying to play since it got printed.